Hi there, and welcome to another Cigar Advisor Cigar Review Panel Cigar Review from beautiful downtown Forks Township, Pennsylvania. I'm Gary Korb, and I've just been unmasked by someone from the National Security Agency. And believe me, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Today we are smoking the lovely Romeo y Julieta Verona Toro. This is a classic 6x50 shaped Toro. It has a core blend of Dominican, Nicaraguan, and Peruvian long fillers, and it's rolled in a very nice San Andreas wrapper, but it's a dark natural wrapper. And it comes in this beautiful sleeve, which, as you can see, when you take it off, you have a beautiful looking, oily cigar. And joining us today are the usual reprobates. Former personal trainer to Kim Kardashian's pool boy, Mr. Fred Lunt.
Oh, hey. He didn't miss a leaf.
Google his name and he comes up as the Polish Prince of Pop. The one and only Tommy Z-Man.
That's how you top that.
Guitar shaped like a sausage.
Wow, my kibasi thanks you, Gary. Well done,
Right.
well done.
He's got soul and is super bad, but he left his James Brown wig back at the house. Mr. John Pulo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also, former stunt double for David Spade in the Joe Dirt film.
Wow, that's true.
All right.
hung up the mullet.
So we're smoking this really nice Romeo y Julieta Verona. It's the Toro. It's 6x50. What I like about the cigar so far is it's got some nice heft to it. It's got some good weight. It's packed nicely. I like the oiliness of the wrapper, and it's smoking really nicely. I'd say it's a medium body, and it's got some nice creamy smoke to it. And I guess we'll go down the line and start with Fred. What are your impressions, Fred, so far?
So my impressions, I really like the way the San Andreas kind of pulls it in there with a lot of the sweetness to it. I'm not big on pepper bombs, and this is definitely not a pepper bomb. This is like the right amount of pepper for me. It's just a little bit that kind of tingles in there. It doesn't come in, come out like some cigars do. It just kind of hangs there the whole time. It's kind of like a pleasant pepperiness to it. I would even say this is a little toasty. It's got a little bit of vanilla. It's got a lot of leather that hangs in there, but overall it's a very tasty, sweet, medium-bodied cigar. So I really like this look.
Okay.
So far.
Tommy?
I think what you guys should know is, you know, this is the third addition to the lineup. First we have the Capulet, which is that Ecuadorian Connecticut, and we have the Montague, which is the Brazilian Maduro. This kind of falls right in between. It's that middle range, so it's on the medium side. I'd say you guys would agree, medium body cigar?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
straight up medium. Yeah, straight up medium. Not an overly complex cigar. Sometimes we'll come on here and talk about this cornucopia of flavors like Carmen Miranda's hat we're smoking. For any of you under 38, you have no freaking clue what I just said. But this one, you know, guys, it doesn't have to be overly complex. Sometimes there's just some straight up flavors and a cigar is straight up and it's really enjoyable to smoke. Straight up flavors I got were definitely cedary, like Fred said, little bit peppery. There is some spice right off the bat, definitely.
That's true.
And definitely very coffee. I'm getting like coffee and wood, and it's like that traditional flavor to it, like that just traditional medium-bodied kind of Romeo flavor to it. And I like it a lot. This is a cigar I could just sit and enjoy. I don't have to get that whirlwind of flavors going on.
I had the term beefy sweet written down when I had smoked one of the other samples.
Well, it's not about me.
I have no idea what it means, but I had written down beefy sweet. I'm not sure. But sweetness everywhere. To Fred's point, to your point, there's nuttiness, there's cedar to it, especially on the cold draw, but very natural flavors. You know how sometimes some people will write dark roasted coffee, or they'll write some of these things after something has already happened to them, like cut grass. These flavors tend to be all natural, just as they exist, like that kind of citrusy or leafy green kind of aroma or sensation.
I know what you're talking about,
the aroma's kind of mellow, it's a little bit nutty, but not like, again, not like a roasted nut. Nobody's done anything to it. So think like if you crack open a macadamia nut or something like that, or an almond, or something like that. So some of the meatier
You know what? That's
ones.
really interesting because I am tasting like almond, like
So
that.
some of the meatier flavors.
I'm getting that flavor.
And same with you. Opens with a little bit of a sharp bite, but not much, and it only lingers for a second. But you can pick up that pepper a little bit on the retrohale.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of that too. The pre-light for me was more like a mix of leather and spice. Get that leathery, like, you know, a note, and then some spice. The first few puffs were creamy, spicy, you know, with that little nip of pepper in there, and mostly woody. So I'd agree that it's kind of, the base flavors are basically like cedar wood, nuts, maybe a little coffee like Tommy said. And I think the balance is excellent.
It is. You know,
it's
Gary,
really
one of the
well
things
balanced.
that I thought was real interesting that they went with a San Andreas. I think that gives us a special character. What is it about San Andreas? Like a lot in the last couple of years, just
It's
the last
hot.
couple of years, that leaf has become hot.
Maybe they have a good
But
harvest.
that's not a very big valley, I don't think. That they only produce so much.
Well, I
leaf.
think it's all
harvest,
produced by the
something,
Turret family.
Yeah, the
I think
Turret
they own
family.
it all. And this is like most of the San Andreas that have been coming out have been the Maduro, which I really love because it has that great natural sweetness to it. This has got a little bit of sweetness to it, but it's a little more, well, it's a little less sweet, I should say. But it's got a nice character to it. I really enjoy it.
The one that I had on Friday was really sweet. That was like...
Really?
Yeah, it was like a piece of candy almost. It was delicious.
Well, there is some sweetness coming from the tobacco. I'm getting that, you know, some natural, which I like. So this is right in my wheelhouse.
It's not like saccharin or, you know.
No,
it's
not that
like
kind
a
of
tipped
sweet.
cigar. It's just naturally very
like-
sweet.
I like to say sweet tobacco, you know, whatever that means. So.
But it's straightfortard. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But that's
it's just
fine.
a good, solid cigar.
I think this is just one of those classic cigars that I had with coffee. Went fantastic.
Well, I'm having it with coffee. And
I
it's
also
going great.
had this with a port wine after dinner when that sweetness just of the port. It was Taylor 20, which is a nice bottle of port. And that just balanced. I don't know. The two flavors went together so well.
Yeah, I like port. I think port is overlooked a little too often. It's sort of one of those, you know, underrated or whatever you want to say, but you don't see a lot of guys drinking port. Underappreciated.
See,
yes.
but I've heard this cigar is really good with an IPA type ale, an India Pale Ale. Because it doesn't overpower the cigar, and the balance of the flavors just work really well together in like an IPA, and maybe like a double IPA even, depending how strong you want to go.
Well, you know why this cigar is good to pair? We're talking about drinks, with wine, with coffee, with beer. This is a good cigar to pair because it's not overly complex. I think a very complex cigar, you want to taste all those nuances, and sometimes if you're drinking a scotch or a wine, it might mask that flavor and change it a bit. So this really is more straightforward. Pairs great with drinks.
So of a couple of base flavors, it opens them up nice.
Yes, very much so.
Gary, actually, construction.
Oh, well.
We really haven't dug much into
Well, it's got a
beyond the components.
Okay, well, it has a triple seam cap, which is very good. It's really well applied.
Very Cuban-esque.
Yes. My cap clipped perfectly, which I always like. I like it when it comes off in a nice round circle, you know. And as I was saying before, I didn't really feel any soft spots. The cigar has nice weight to it. Do we agree that?
Yeah.
We're all on that? So it's well packed.
Yeah, it's solid.
And mine's burning pretty well, and I don't know what more to say other than it's, you know, that's nice, real good, and it's a good value. It's not, how much does this thing go for?
$6.
If that.
$5, $6.
Yeah.
Nice, consistent brown color, not overly veiny or anything. Or some cigars tend to be a little bit on the rustic-looking side. This is actually pretty smooth, pretty polished. You'll see in our tasting notes a little bit deeper on some of the details on this, but you know, as you get deeper in, you know, some of those flavors start to change a little bit because we're getting near the end of a third here, into the second third, and things are starting to tighten up a little bit. Some of that roasted coffee you were talking about, that's happening.
Do we want to wrap it up and give our final opinions?
Fred, you gonna rap?
Yeah, I'll rap. No, I'm not gonna rap. Don't let me freestyle. Never.
Go ahead. Tell them what you think.
So this is a very good medium-bodied cigar. You know, it's got some good sweetness to it. It's got a little peppery notes. The base flavors we've agreed on are, you know, sweetness, a woodiness, a bit of a nuttiness, some coffee, and it's well constructed. It's a great price point, and it pairs really well with your drinks. Whatever you're gonna have, if it's wine, if it's beer, IPA, if it's coffee, whatever it is. But it's, you know, for the price point, it's a very good cigar, and it's very flavorful.
Yep, straightforward, as I said. Not a ton of different notes in here, but just enough to give it really good flavor. Very enjoyable. You can see a lot of smoke coming out. I really like it a lot. I'm just happy that this line continued with, you know, it's just as good as those other two, the Montague and the Capulet. But this one, like I said, falls right in the middle. You know, the other two, it's mild to medium. The other one is medium to full. This one is a dead-on medium. Really good smoke.
I think I just drooled on myself.
You liked it that much.
So there's a savory component.
Well, the worst part is
we should sell these with a bib. Like one of those tearaway lobster bibs.
I noticed when you looked at me, you drooled. So I am going to probably change my seat.
I got nervous a little, and I turned your way. And so the interesting thing about some of these different flavors is, if I'm not particularly great at being able to pick some of these up, basic notes, but it's easier to relate them to something you already know. Like if you put a particular kind of creamer in your coffee, I notice it's got some of those kind of vanilla-y flavor or those caramelly flavors. So it's easy to relate to some of those. You'll find those in here, I bet, if you try a couple out of the box. Overall, medium, some good creamy rips of smoke. Otherwise, nice construction, Romeo flavor, nutty and toasty, and all the other good stuff that goes with it.
Toasty, yes, very toasty cigar.
So good smoke, and any time of day smoke too.
Yep, I totally agree. I don't know what more I can say about it other than they did a great job. And as Tommy noted, it falls right in line with the other two cigars. And I think I would highly recommend this. And you could smoke it in the morning, you smoke it in the afternoon, in the evening. It's an any time of day cigar.
It's probably good after a nice seafood meal. That's what I had it with the other day. I had
really?
I had some calamari and some shrimp. Yeah, had this afterwards with an IPA. It was really good.
I had some scallops yesterday.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't have the cigar afterwards, so I couldn't tell you about that. But
I had a
but I might do that next time.
Can of tuna with an expired date, and it still tasted good.
Grocery store sushi.
Gas station sushi.
Well, I guess that pretty much wraps it up for the Romeo y Julieta Verona Toro. Thanks for joining us, and please don't forget to follow us on cigaradvisor.com and on Facebook, and don't forget our Wednesday Facebook Live show. And we're on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, Google+, Google-. We're all over the web.
Wait a minute. What about our live show?
I just said that. I said don't forget our Wednesday
You
Facebook
listen.
Live show.
I'm a highly paid talent. I don't have to listen.
So that's all for now, and we'll see you next time. Happy smokes.